Also, this week, eBay, I don't know if anybody noticed this, because I didn't see this get put out anywhere, but I just happened to notice. eBay changed their policy on... Welcome back, everybody. We had an interesting week of eBay sales this week. Not good, not bad, just interesting. A lot of different things happened, a lot of interesting stories, and I have a few hypotheses as to why this was an interesting week, but let's go right ahead and jump right into the numbers. This week we had a gross sales of 385, which equaled out to be a net sales of 234. Busiest day of the week is Thursday, with a total sales gross sales of 121.70, which is a net sales of $89.03. Average gross per sale was $29.65. Average net per sale was $17.95. The net profit margin for the week was 61%. The average net profit margin per sale was 48%. Net return by sources, donated items hit the big ticket. We'll talk about that later on. One Goodwill. I found a really unique product that was a nice little flip for me, so we'll talk about that in a bit. Sunglasses climbing up, and we'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and tell you guys right now. I am proud to announce that the sunglass lot has officially, 1 day shy of 2 months from purchase, paid for itself. As of this week, we are now in the pure profit on sunglasses. I have paid the initial cost of the bulk order of sunglasses. I think I currently have probably 200 sunglasses listed and probably have another 40 to list out of that lot from exactly 1 day shy of 2 months ago. So I'm really excited about that. So now every sunglass I sell, we are in the absolute pure profit. I'm excited about that. And then a mixture of Goodwill, St. Vinny's Home, and stores for the remainder of the list. Listing by source this week, 50-50 split between sunglasses and remotes. Why is remote one less? That doesn't make sense. It does not compute. I must have messed up somewhere in my cataloging. I'll have to look into that. Active listings by price. We got a little bit more in that 20 to 50 range this week, brought the less than 20 down, and we were able to get 2 items listed between that 50 and 100 mark. Spent on new inventory this week, $59.78, and you're going to notice we actually have like a real higher total, meaning I actually listed things I sourced this week, which means my death pile is currently under somewhat control, to the point where I'm actually listing new inventory again, which is really nice. And first time really going out sourcing this week in a while, and I had a great time, got a lot of good stuff. We're actually going to be talking about some of that stuff here coming up. Cost of goods that sold this week was $24.65. I paid eBay a total of $54.78 in market fees, and I paid all the shipping providers $72.24 for shipping labels for the week. Maintaining my goal of 12 listings a day, equaled up for 84 for the week. I had 13 sales, a little bit slower sales week this week, and I truly believe I've noticed that anytime, anywhere in America, there is a major weather system, it's usually a slower week. And I would legitimately say a third of my business comes from the West Coast, a third of my business comes from the Northeast, and a third of my business comes from the South. Like if I was to sit down and actually track out on a weekly basis where it would go, I think it would break up into that. And I just want to say to everybody out there in the South who had to go through Hurricane Helene this week, I hope you guys are safe. I hope you're doing well. If anything was damaged or anybody is harmed, I'm truly wishing for nothing but a speedy recovery and for you guys to bounce back on your feet. I know as a former Gulf Coast resident who has lived through multiple hurricanes, times like these are really trying, especially directly in the wake of it, when you don't know what to do, you don't know what's going on, and I know there's a lot of anxiety, and especially if you're without power, that's even worse. So my heart goes out to all of you, and I'm wishing you guys the best, and I hope you guys get back on your feet real quick. All right. Average time for something to sell in my store this week was 27 days. Average time to sell was 2 months. Return on investment this week was 387%. Average return on investment per sale was 519%. Jumping into the top 10, number 10 is this Polo Ralph Lauren shirt, XL men's blue. So I picked this shirt up at a St. Vincent's for $4.02. And I didn't realize it's so funny. When I first started selling, how I would think a shirt was good to go when I bought it at the thrift store. Like I thought I was doing really good checking it for everything. And then you get it home and you put it underneath those photo lights, and man, does new flaws jump out at you. Well, this one had a little stain at the bottom, and tried getting the stain out, and no matter what we did, we couldn't get the stain out. So I decided to sell this shirt, and I just made sure I put it in the description that it had the stain on it, highlighted where the stain was, took great photographs, and this shirt finally sold for $16.72 on eBay, which was $9.97 for the shirt, $6.75 for the shipping. The actual cost to ship this item was $5.15, which provided me a net return of $4.94. Not great, but for a stained shirt, I'll take it. 123% return on investment and a 30% profit margin. Number 9 sale of the week are these Coleman sunglasses. Before I got big into the sunglass game, I picked these Coleman sunglasses up at a Goodwill for $1.12. They sold on eBay for $14.49. That was $9.09 for the sunglasses and $5.40 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $4.11, which gave me a net return of $6.92. Which was a 618% return on investment and a 48% profit margin. Number 8 sale of the week are these All-Terrain Outfitters polarized wrap sunglasses. These were part of the bulk lot purchased on eBay. This was actually from the first round, not the second round, so the purchase price on these was $1.75. Sold on eBay for $15.45. Which was $10 for the sunglasses and $5.45 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $4.19, which provided me a $7 even net return, which was a 400% return on investment and a 45% profit margin. The number 7 sale of the week are these Foster Grant Emma Tort women's brown tortoise shellback max block sunglasses. Now, because sunglasses rarely ever make the top 10, what's one thing interesting is this is my number 1 selling model of sunglass. I think this is probably the 4th or 5th of this particular model that I have sold. First off, what I'm learning about sunglasses is tortoiseshell sunglasses are your best, and then once you get that brand that a majority of the people like, they move. Sunglasses usually take about probably a month or two to sell, but I'm noticing tortoise, especially certain models of the tortoise sunglasses, sell better than others. This was purchased from the original bulk purchase for $1.75 on eBay. It sold on eBay for $18.43. That's $12.98 for the sunglasses and $5.45 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $4.19. Provided me a net return of $9.27, 530% ROI, and a net profit of 50%. Number 6 sale of the week is this Nike Golf Blue Short Sleeve Performance Polo. Picked this up at a St. Vinny's for $3.09. It sold on eBay for $21.13, which was $14.38 for the shirt and $6.75 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $5.15. This provided me a net return of $9.77, which was a 316% return on investment and a 46% profit margin. Number 5 sale of the week are these new with tags Foster's Grant Solar Shield Fit Over sunglasses. Purchased these on eBay for $1.12. They sold on eBay for $18.38, which was $12.98 for the sunglasses and $5.40 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $4.11, which provided me a $10.48 net return, which was a 936% return on investment and a 57% profit margin. Number 4 sale of the week was this Wrangler Western Fashion Double Pearl Snap Pocket Shirt. Now, if you're a longtime watcher of the show, you guys know that I am a huge fan of pearl snap shirts of any types, especially Wranglers. I knew this was going to be a good shirt when I picked it up in Wisconsin a week and a half ago, because the pockets had double pearl snaps on the pockets, which I just thought was an interesting design. Anytime you find anything unique like that, you usually know it's going to get a little bit better price than the normal stuff. And I picked this up for $3.74 at a Goodwill, and it sold on eBay for $29.78, which was $22.98 for the shirt and $6.80 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $5.32, which provided me a net return of $16.39. Number 3 sale of the week is this Venturi Spirit Aerator with stand bar accessory. I didn't even know this product exists, and the best way I can describe it is it looks like a shot glass with a long coned bottom and a button on a side. You pour a shot of liquor into it, and you press the button, and it spins the liquor and drops it out the bottom of it, aerating the liquor, which I knew you do that for wine. I had no clue that was something you did with liquor. I used to drink quite a bit of liquor in my day. Now I don't drink liquor at all. I only drink beer, and only on Saturdays. And for those who watch the Sunday show, yes, I'm handicapping myself every time I do these episodes. But this Venturi Spirit Aerator, I picked it up at a Goodwill for $3.74. It was actually, so I do the averages on price. This was actually tagged for $1, and it was the color of the day, so it was 50% off. I actually got this item for 50 cents, but once you do an average for the day, it was $3.74. It sold on eBay for $43.83, which was $34.98 for the actual aerator and $8.85 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $7.56, which provided me a net return of $25.38, which is a 679% return on investment and a 58% net profit margin. One thing kind of interesting about this, it was open box, but it was new. Like, it's never been used before. It was sealed inside the box. I actually sold this to a vineyard in California, which I thought was really interesting. Number 2 sale of the week is this Joseph Joe Lisner autographed Dawn pinup blueprint. So my brother had a friend who shipped him a whole bunch of comic and movie memorabilia last month, and when he got it, it was a whole bunch of stuff. He took out the decorative pieces that he wanted to keep, and then he was like, you know, this is a lot of stuff, I don't know what to do. The person who gave it to him says, you know, do whatever you want with it. It was a gift. She was really nice of her to give to my brother. And my brother called me and he goes, I don't know what to do with this stuff. He's like, you want it to sell it? And I'm like, yes, I do want this to sell it. So this piece came from that. This was donated to me by my brother, who got it donated to him by a friend. So the purchase cost on this was $0. It sold on eBay for $66.75. That was $60 for the picture and $6.75 for the shipping. The actual cost to ship this item was $6.09, which provided me a net return of $50.05, which is an infinite return on investment and a 75% net profit margin. And this is the first time I ever sold like a flat picture. It was in a plastic, like a giant plastic top loader, like what you would get for baseball cards, only 11 by 17. So this is the first time I had to ship something flat. How I did this was I took two giant pieces of cardboard that were cut to the exact same lengths. I sealed the sides and the bottom like it was an envelope, and then I slipped the picture into the sandwich cardboard of the envelope, and then I sealed the top of it with shipping tape, and on the end I put a tab on the tape to where you could easily just pull the tape off the top and then pull it out like it was a big giant envelope. Then I wrapped the envelope in a layer of bubble wrap, and then I had put it in a big giant poly mailer, took it over like that, slapped a fragile handle with care sticker on, and shipped it that way, which I think worked out really well. It made it, like, the two pieces of cardboard made it super rigid where it wasn't going to bend and transition, layer bubble wrap just to be safe, and then the poly mailer instead of a cardboard box to reduce the weight. So I think that's the way I'm going to do pictures in the future. It seems very safe to me. And the number 1 sale of the week is this Magnavox MWD2206 VCR DVD combo. Before I get into this, let me tell you the story of how I acquired this. As you guys know, my big day for sourcing is Wednesday. That's when I have time with the college schedule and everything else going on in my life to where I can actually get out and dedicate a day to going to multiple thrift stores, multiple garage sales, and source. While out sourcing this past Wednesday, I went to a Salvation Army in a small town here in the Upper Peninsula, and last time I was here was a couple weeks back. And in the couple weeks since I've been there, the Salvation Army bought the place that was right next door to it tore the wall down and doubled the size. And Salvation Army in this town was the smallest thrift store. They're always the most reasonably priced. And now they just doubled their whole entire operation, which I thought was really neat. So I was like, ooh, I'm going to spend a lot of time in here looking at all the goodies. And I was getting close to the end of my trip, and I was going through winter coats. Because obviously this is the time of year where you want to get winter coats and get them up and get them listed. And while I'm doing that, I noticed a older woman, my guess is about 70 years old, pulled up in an older Cadillac Escalade, but it was a really well-kept Cadillac Escalade. Don't ask me why this was something I noticed as I was in the store, because the whole front of the store is glass. And she parked by the donation window. And the gentleman who worked at the Salvation Army went up to the donation door, opened it up for her, and he's grabbing her bags and everything out of it. And then I hear him say, across the store, "I'm sorry, ma'am, we don't take VCRs." As soon as I hear this, like, my brain kicked in, and without thinking, from 20 yards, I was the only person in the store at the time. This was like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. I just shouted across the store, "I do!" And he laughed, and he's like, "There you go, we got somebody for you." And I walked out, and I was walking out just expecting a VCR, not caring what it was. And the lady pulls out this DVD VCR combo. And the first thing she says to me is, "What do you want? What does a young guy like you want with an outdated system like this?" I made the move of what I always do. Completely 100% honesty. I said, "Well, ma'am," I said, "I'm an online eBay reseller." I said, "This is how I make a living. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, ensure it works." She's like, "It works like a dream. I've cleaned it every Saturday for the last blah, blah, blah years." And I was like, "Yep, well, I'm going to sell it for profit." And I was like, can I give you something for it? Can I give you $10 for it?" Because I knew this was gonna sell for about, my guess was about $60 at the time. And she said, "Absolutely not." We talked for a little bit, and she said my entrepreneurial spirit reminded her of her late husband, and she told me she wanted me to have this to better myself in business, and she wished me nothing but success and good luck. She was a wonderful lady. And we talked the whole time like I got this from her, and we chatted for about 5 minutes. But this was donated to me while I was at a Salvation Army by a very wonderful woman. So this cost me $0. It sold on eBay in 15 minutes. It sold in 15 minutes for $104.98, which was $84.98 for the actual player and $20 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $11.04, which provided me a net return of $84.09, which is an infinite return on investment, and a net profit margin of 80%. One thing I would like to point out on this sale before we move on is this is a sale. This is an example. I got the DVD VCR combo from the lady. That was just it. Just the player with the power cord that came with it. The advice I give you guys all the time, that like, hey, if you plan on selling electronics, especially VCRs and DVD players, whenever you're out thrifting or you're out at a garage sale and you see a 25 or 50 cent cord bin, always be picking up the RCA cables and then remote controls. So as most of you know, I've recently got into the remote control business. Once I got this home, I started going through my remotes to see if I had a remote for this. I did not have the exact remote for this system. However, I did find a Magnavox remote that was just a DVD remote, and it worked for the DVD side of it. I made sure I put that in the listing, that the remote was for the DVD player only. It did not control the VCR portion of it whatsoever, but it did do all the functions of the DVD player. So that was something I was able to bundle on, because the average one of these, just the system by itself, was selling for about $55 to $70. That's where the average sales price of it was. Shipping was irrelevant. Didn't matter if it was free or if it was paid. And I talked to somebody in the Flipwise Discord after this sold, and he told me that there's a lot of companies, a lot of Amazon sellers who literally purchase every single one of this particular model as soon as they come up on eBay, not really caring what the price is, just so they can turn around and flip them on Amazon. So I'm assuming these probably sell for like 120, 130 on Amazon. Just good to know that this particular model will always get you guaranteed somewhere in that $50 to $85 range, depending on the quality and what you have bundled with it. All right, and that concludes our top 10 for the week. Like I said earlier, I have noticed that whenever there is a major weather system coming through America, The number and volume of sales is lower than it is normally, which is completely understandable. And like I said, who cares about selling and buying on eBay when people's lives, homes are at stake? And I genuinely just want to cover it again. I hope everybody who's in the affected area is doing all right. And I hope that if you are without power, it gets restored soon. I hope that if there was any property damage, I hope that everything goes smoothly through the insurance process. I hope everybody's personally safe. You can replace stuff, you can't replace people. Yeah. As far as school's going for me this week, I feel my schedule getting a little bit more compressed. Like the new classes I'm taking require a lot more time and power, so that's another thing that's just piling up on me. I did actually list my 1000th active item, so now I'm over 1000 active items in my eBay store as of this week. That's a weird one to think about, because I never thought I was actually going to get to 1000. I thought I was probably going to hover around 500, and now I think I'm going to bring that up. Like I said, I've talked about this. I think I want to get to 1500, 2000. Like that's where I want my store to be at in capacity, and then we'll just replenish what sells from there. Oh, I know one thing I want to talk about. It didn't make the top 10 this week, but an update on the vacuum cleaner sale. I did sell the curve brush this week for $10.35. The curve brush was slated to be the 7th item sold on the vacuum part out. It ended up being the 5th item sold, so right for the sell-through rate. Like I said, it sold for $10.35, which brings the vacuum part out total net profit from the whole entire vacuum part out up to $106.83. And another thing, a local church in my area found out what I was doing, that I'm doing eBay sales, and they were kind enough to donate to me 3 vacuum cleaners, which was super, super nice of them. So I am in the upcoming weeks going to part out those vacuum cleaners and get those up. So, I mean, I'm excited because I like parting stuff out. I also did get a Thane flavor oven, one of those countertop flavor ovens, and surprisingly decent sell-through rate on the parts. I parted that out this week. I'm excited to see what that brings in, because that was a $3 purchase for the whole system at a Goodwill. And looking at the sell-through rate and the prices of things selling on that, if I part it out, it's looking like I'll clear $100 net profit on just the parts alone, which is really nice. Getting closer to the 2,000 sub goal. I really appreciate everybody who joined the channel in the last week. I think that's super awesome. I thank you guys so much. If you are new here and you've enjoyed the content, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It really helps me out in the algorithm. Also, if you're here and you enjoyed the content, press the like button. That lets eBay know that it should push it out to more people. Yeah, I also want to thank Willing to Sell Anything on eBay. They are a watcher of the channel, so hello. I had a mistake in my listing this week, and they were kind enough to reach out and DM me to let me know, like, hey, just so you know. And they were really, really nice about it. They were like, just so you know, you have this issue in one of your listings. And I was like, oh, like, legitimately, I strive for perfection, but I'm not perfect, just like everybody else. And it's really nice that there's that support system in this community who's just like, hey, I was just doing a little audit, wanted to let you know. And I really appreciate stuff like that. Like, if you see something that's wrong in mine, don't ever be scared to let me know. I take criticism really, really well. And I'd rather have as close to perfect listing as I can than not, because what I had was I had a short sleeve shirt and I had it listed as a long sleeve. Just an absolute lapse in error, but really want to thank you, Willing to Sell Anything, for reaching out and helping me correct that issue. Also, this week, eBay, I don't know if anybody noticed this, because I didn't see this get put out anywhere, but I just happened to notice eBay changed their policy on sending out offers. So it used to be when you sent out an offer to a customer, they had 48 hours to reply. Now they have 96 hours to reply to your offer, which inherently I don't care about the time. I don't care that, like, if you send out an offer, that offer is good for 96 hours. That part of it doesn't bother me. The thing that stinks about this is when you send an offer, when you have an offer pending on an item, you can't make any alterations to it whatsoever. So like if you wanted to add pictures, if you wanted to add something to the item specifics, you can't do it while an offer's pending. And that really stinks, that if there's something you want to alter about a listing, you have to wait 96 hours after the offer expires, for the offer to expire, for you to do the altering of the listing. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm curious to know your guys' opinion. So leave a comment down below. Have you guys noticed that yet? That every offer you send out is giving people 96 hours to respond to it? And if so, let me know how you feel about it, because I'm genuinely curious. One thing I also had come up this week, just talking about being honest in business and doing the best you can to run your business. I got a message this week from a person who bought a pair of sunglasses from me. And the message just read, "Hey, just got the sunglasses. They're all scratched up and cloudy." If you go through my sunglasses, I'm pretty good at. I have some scratched up sunglasses that got scratched in shipping, which I will not deny that. But I'm usually good about catching them. And when I catch them, I list them as scratched. Like, it's in big letters in the title. So it really, I was like, okay. And I have a 30-day return policy. I said, I have a 30-day return policy. I'm so sorry that this happened to you. Just go ahead and mail me open up a return policy, send me the sunglasses back, and I will refund you your full price. And at first I was like, there's no way those sunglasses were scratched. Like, I remember these sunglasses because they were a really nice pair of sunglasses. And he said, "Hey, just so you know, like, I'm not looking for a refund. I really want the sunglasses. If you have another pair, can I mail these back to you and you just mail me a new pair?" And I was like, okay, I don't think this is a scam or anything. Like, I don't think a scammer would do that. Like, willingly offer, I will wait. I will open up a return. I will wait for you to get the sunglasses. And then can you, instead of refunding me the money, just ship me a new pair of sunglasses? And I said, hold on one second. Let me see if I got another pair. And I did. And these were tortoiseshell Clubmaster sunglasses. And, which means they don't have a bottom rim. And I had another pair, and when I pulled it out, I was like, "Oh, sweet! I do have another pair. We can just do a return. He'll send me those ones, and I'll send them back." And I'm noticing these are brown lens sunglasses. I'm noticing the brown lens. I'm like, "Oh, they look good." And then I was like, I know the ones I sent him look good too. So I do a visual inspection of every single pair of sunglasses underneath the light. One thing I don't do though is I don't put the sunglasses on to look through them. And I noticed, I was like, let me put these sunglasses on to look through them before I even talk to this guy and tell him I got another pair. And I noticed when I put these sunglasses on, they were cloudy and had little tiny scratches on the inside of the lens, which really made me mad. But I was like, oh shoot, these ones have little and they weren't major scratches, but they were little tiny scratches, and they were in the lens. I pulled them off, I looked at them again, and I learned this week that with brown lenses, I especially am going to have to really, like, I'm gonna have to try every pair of brown lens on, because with mirrored sunglasses, if there's a scratch, it's easy to see. With black, it's super easy to see. With gray, it's easy to see. With pink, it's easy to see. But for some reason, these little tiny scratches, you really have to be looking at it with a fine-tooth comb. So that is something I learned about sunglasses. Brown, like, you have to go above and beyond in your inspection when you're inspecting them for listings. So I emailed the guy back and I said, hey, I did have another pair, but upon further inspection, I found that these ones also have little tiny minor scratches in it, and that cloud the vision. I was like, then I profusely apologized to him, because now I totally believe he's telling the truth. This isn't a scam. I said, I'm sorry. I was like, don't worry about sending me those pair back. Because the reason I want to get something back if somebody says something's broken is because I want to see the damage. Because I do a good job of inspection, but this is a learning curve in the job. Brown lenses, it's not going to be just a visual inspection. For brown lenses now, I'm going to put the brown lenses on to make sure there's no scratches in them or any damage to the lenses. So I told him to keep the pair of sunglasses. I said I would issue you a full refund right now. And I did. And I learned, I always thought for some reason that once you provided a refund, that took the ability to leave feedback away. Like it negated the sale like there was no sale. Well, apparently, once you do a refund, you can leave feedback. And thankfully, this guy left a very wonderful feedback for me. Basically praising, why don't I just read it to you? Like, we have the technology where I can just read you the feedback this guy sent me. But it surprised me because I didn't know you could leave feedback on a refund. So if that's something you thought like, oh, I did the refund, I know I'm safe from a negative feedback, or a positive feedback in my case, you're not. Feedback can still be left on a returned item, which I don't necessarily like. Because to me, once you do a refund, it's like you negate the sale. Here's the positive feedback he left for me. He said, fantastic return experience. The glasses were damaged, but after a quick exchange with the seller on their own offered a refund of the entire purchase. I am bummed about the sunglasses because I wanted them, but would absolutely work with this seller again. He had clear communication and unprompted integrity went a long way. Highly recommend. So that was my first interesting feedback. It's a positive, but it's from a negative situation, which I kind of like because it was the truth. He was 100% serious. We had a back and forth. He told the story, I thought, very well. I'm fine with that. Here's another positive feedback I got the same day, literally 20 minutes after this. I sold that DVD player a couple weeks ago. I received 0 messages about it, nothing bad. Like the person never opened up a return, nothing. And he said, this was the feedback that was left. It was a positive. Unfortunately, the unit was somehow damaged during shipment, but the seller on his own offered to make it right. The only thing I could think of is another unit was damaged, and this worked. I know that Toshiba worked when I sent it out. The only thing I can think of is he bought another something, and he had just clicked on my listing when he was going to leave feedback. That's the only thing I can think of. But he never reached out to me, never filed a return. Just weird. Just weird. And then I got another positive feedback that was received. It was positive, but it says received item quickly, but the fit was a little snug. Well, I can't do anything about the fit. I put all the measurements in the photos. It's just interesting week of feedback for me, like in interesting stories. So yeah, guys, that's all I got for this week. Again, thoughts and prayers going out to everybody who live in the South region of America. I hope you're dry. I hope you're safe. And I hope everything gets better for you guys soon. For everybody, I hope you guys had a fantastic week. I hope you have a fantastic week to come. And we will for sure see you guys next Sunday. Have a great week, everybody.